So the TIE Interceptor is one of the deadliest fighters deployed by the Galactic Empire en masse. Faster than nearly all Rebel starfighters, it posed a significant threat to the Rebel Alliance. Today we're going to take a look at its design, its history, and how it was deployed by the Galactic Empire. I'm Colin, and this is Sci-Fi Deep Dive. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, to head down below and hit that subscribe button. With the success of the standardized TIE fighter, the Empire wanted a more advanced version of their mainline fighter. And so, Sci-Fi Fleet Systems, the company that designed all of the TIE fighters, got to work designing a better variation of their fighter. And what they came up with was not the TIE Interceptor. It was the TIE Advanced X-1. This is the TIE fighter that was flown by Darth Vader during the Battle of Yavin. Equipped with both a hyperdrive and shields, it was far superior to the standard TIE fighter. It was also pretty fast, being capable of traveling at up to 1,200 kilometers an hour. But it was far too expensive to mass produce. So Sci-Fi Fleet Systems went back to the drawing board, having only produced a few TIE Advanced X-1s. The fighter that they came up with was the TIE Interceptor. Unlike the TIE Advanced, the TIE Interceptor retains the small ball cockpit of the standard TIE fighter. This is because the shields and hyperdrive were cut from the design. However, unlike the standard TIE fighter, it does maintain the sloped wings of the TIE Advanced. The wings are also elongated in the front to provide more power for its more demanding electrical systems. Those more demanding electrical systems power 4 extra laser cannons, as well as 2 engines that are significantly more capable than the engines on the standard TIE fighter. And those elongated wings even have sections cut out of the middle of them to allow the pilot to have better visibility. Seen as early as 5 years into the reign of the Empire, the TIE Interceptor first saw use with groups like the Inquisitors, specialized units that required special, more advanced starfighters. However, it didn't take long for it to start appearing in regular Imperial ranks. We see that by about 2 or 3 years before the Battle of Yavin, they were a relatively common sight. A few squadrons here and there were using them, and they were becoming more and more common by the day. Now, the A-Wing is actually a little bit faster than the TIE Interceptor, but it's not nearly as maneuverable. The TIE Interceptor's relatively light weight allowed it to pull maneuvers that the A-Wing simply couldn't. And when it came up against other Rebel starfighters like the X-Wing, it was able to easily dominate them. Seeing its effectiveness against the Rebel starfighters, which they use prominently in their hit-and-run tactics, the Empire began making an effort to deploy the TIE Interceptor more frequently. And we know that by the time of the Battle of Endor, they made up about 1/5 of the Imperial starfighter fleet. On top of that, the TIE Interceptor sort of became the de facto starfighter of Imperial fighter aces. When the Emperor was being transferred in his Lambda-class shuttle, it was escorted by a squadron of red TIE Interceptors. We know that after the Battle of Endor, they still made up a significant number of Imperial forces, basically all the way up to the Battle of Jakku. Like a lot of Imperial equipment, though, the Battle of Jakku is basically where its story seems to end. With the Empire's defeat at that battle, much of their military hardware was scrapped by the New Republic. And this probably includes most of the TIE Interceptors built by the Empire. Like the standard TIE fighters it was designed to improve upon, the TIE Interceptor also had an impact on the fighter design of the First Order. Specifically the TIE Baron, a modified First Order TIE fighter designed specifically for fighter aces. But that's basically where the TIE Interceptor's story ends at the Battle of Jakku. When it came up against Rebel starfighters, it was brutally effective, especially against things like X-Wings. And it was far more effective than the standard Imperial TIE fighter it was designed to replace. If you want to learn more about the history of the standard Imperial TIE fighter, I'll leave a link up here to my video on that. And I want you to let me know down below in the comments what you think about the TIE Interceptor showing up just 5 years after the end of the Clone Wars. Is that too soon into the reign of the Empire, or does it not bother you? And lastly, if you enjoyed this video, head down below, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon so you get notified when I upload new videos. So for Sci-Fi Deep Dive, I'm Colin, and I will see you next time.